My last video was about prepping going mainstream. So I was sitting here thinking, if I was to stockpile food, right? I'm not talking like 18-wheeler loads full or warehouses full. I'm talking about having a full pantry in my kitchen. Maybe having some shelves in like one of the spare closets, or in the basement, or if I have some kind of cellar or something like that, right? Some shelving in the garage, odds and ends places, right? I could store away some extra stuff just in case, right? So I figure foods you should stockpile in case of a disaster, right? And of course, it's all mostly in case of some kind of disaster, whether it be like tornado, hurricane, flooding, wildfires, anything, right? At least, if your home survives all that, then, you'll have the ability to feed yourself and your family, right? Well, I figured the number one thing is, of course, water, of course. Then you got your beans, you got your white rice, you got canned vegetables, canned fruit, canned meats, canned fish, canned soups, right? Creamed soups, veggie soups, all kinds of good soups. Everybody likes good soup on a winter's day, right? Ooh, that reminds me. Electricity goes off on a winter's day and is out for a good long time. If you're heating your house on electricity, you're going to be cold. So you need a way to, kind of heat up some food, right? Break open a couple of cans of soup and heat them up. That'll warm you up. It's always good to have an alternative warming method for your home, right? That's why I kind of like having natural gas run to the house and having a gas heater. Really comes in handy when the electricity goes out. I'm not talking about your central heat and air being gas heated, because if you don't have electricity for your central heat and air, right, the fans are not going to blow that heat around your house, and it's not going to warm up your house. The little controls that are electric controlled, electronics, that's all powered by electricity. If that's not being powered, guess what? Your central heat and air is not going to have heat. It's not going to pump the heat. It's not going to move the heat. It's not going to heat, whether you have gas run to it or not. So you need one of those old-fashioned gas heaters, right? Natural gas run to your house, heat, right? Where it's ventilated up a chimney to the outside, and have it inspected and make sure it's safe. Very important. Okay. Salt, right? Salt is very important. In the olden days, salt was actually more valuable than gold. A lot of people don't realize that, but that's true. But if you get salt, make sure you get the iodized salt, because, humans, our bodies require certain amounts of iodine to help keep us healthy, right? And then you got pepper, right? Salt and pepper your food. That's me. I'm always salting and peppering my food. Honey, right? Honey is very nutritious. Pasta products, spaghetti sauce, jerky, peanut butter, jelly, wheat flour, baking powder, baking soda, bouillon cubes, chicken and beef bouillon cubes, whole wheat crackers, saltine crackers, trail mix, get the nuts and the berries, chocolate, man, everybody loves a little bit of chocolate here or there, powdered milk, multivitamins, right? Very important to have those multivitamins, set aside in case of an emergency, because you're not going to get all the minerals and vitamins that you need from all the foods that you've stored away, right? You need some multivitamins too to help you get through the hard times, help keep you healthy and strong. Well, spices, get a wide variety of spices because ain't nothing worse than having bland, ordinary, yucky food. You got to have it spiced up to make it taste good. Everybody knows that, right? Especially the cooks. Gravy mixes. You get several different types because you kind of get tired of one type, right? Oh, what else? Soy sauce, apple cider vinegar. That's a good one. Regular and instant coffee. You want to make sure you got plenty of coffee. Caffeinated. Well, at least for me, I need my caffeinated coffee. Can't survive without it. I'm addicted to caffeinated coffee. Powdered iced tea mix. That's a good one. Sugar, because you want a little bit of sugar in your iced tea and your coffee, right? Hard candy. Hard candy will give you a little pick-me-up, give you a little energy, right? Heirloom garden seeds, very important. That way you can plant yourself a garden when time comes. Try to have a garden in place already, right? Hard liquor. A lot of people don't think about hard liquor. But hard liquor comes in very, very handy. You can use it for all kinds of things other than drinking and getting drunk. Pour it on a wound, like if you get cut or something, to help kill bacteria. A painkiller. Whole egg powder. That's a good one. If you could have chickens, right, and you can get fresh eggs, that'd be even better. But whole egg powder, that'd be a good one to add to some of your meals and give you a lot of protein. Powdered butter. A lot of people don't realize there's powdered butter. Onion soup mix. That's another good one. You can mix that up with anything and give it a little onion leaf, good flavor. Potatoes planted in your yard or a strategic place nearby, right? Actually, you want several strategic places. That way you can grow a lot of potatoes. And potatoes are very, very important. Everybody knows because they watch the movie Martians, right? Or The Martian, where the guy planted potatoes inside his habitat on Mars. Y'all need to see that movie. That's a good one. If you don't have a cellar or a basement, build you can build a rudimentary root cellar and store your root crops in there. Or if you happen to purchase them at the grocery store in large quantities, store them in your root cellar. Hopefully they'll winter over and do really well. Of course, you could use your basement, learn to can and jar. It's very important. A lot of people don't realize that it wasn't very long ago that refrigeration did not exist. It wasn't that very long ago that freezers, like in everybody's everyday homes, did not exist. And you wonder, how do people store their food? How do they keep it fresh and keep it from going bad? Well, there's many different ways, right? You store things in your root cellar, keep them fresh. You don't want them in the heat and humidity. That's why they put them in root cellars, because their root cellars are kept at a more constant temperature, a cool, constant temperature. And of course, you want it to be, you don't want it musty and moist. You want it to be, ventilated, but cool, right? People jarred, people cured their meats. They dehydrated stuff. They did all kinds of things. That wasn't very long ago that people did this as a normal, everyday way of life. Refrigeration really came to the forefront around World War II, or maybe even World War I, right? It became very, very important to be able to feed your soldiers and your sailors that were at war good, nutritious food. Not stuff that's been stored away and going bad, right? refrigeration on the ships became very, very important. After that, it came out, products started coming out, for people at home. Before that, they would have they go to the ice house, right? And they would get a big block of ice. I'm talking about a big ass block of ice. And they bring it home and they put it in their ice box. It was an insulated box that they put their chunk of ice in. That's how they refrigerated their stuff, right? That's been going on for a long time. But not everybody had that. Only a small part of the population of the world, very small part of the population of the world had that, right? But when refrigeration as we know it came around, then, you could go and get your refrigerator or your freezer, get your Kenmore freezer, Sears, or get your GE freezer, whatever, and bring it home, or have somebody deliver it and plug it in. It works. Well, I can remember when I was a child, there were people that did not have indoor plumbing. There were people that did not have electricity. There were people that did not have refrigeration. They gardened, they raised animals and crops, fruit trees. They had an outhouse that they would go to. They had a well that they would hand pump water out of, right? That's where they got their water. I'm talking about, I'm in the United States of America. And when you think of the United States of America, you think people don't do that no more, or they've never done that here, right? Well, that's the mindset of today. But when I was a child, and that wasn't very long ago, and think of my parents when they were children, or my grandparents, right? And their parents. They all lived through different times, and they all had certain ways of getting by in life. Hunting, fishing, gardening. They prepared. They prepared for the bad times because they had lived through bad times. They knew that those times were right around the corner and could come back anytime. Right? So learn if you really want to prepare and be before the curve, I guess you could say, before the ball, before the game. Learn to can and jar. Learn to ferment stuff. Fermentation was a big way of preserving your foods, right? Certain foods can be preserved. Build a dehydrator. Dehydrate that stuff. Put it in jars and baggies, store it away. All kinds of neat things to think about, right? So, I'm going to end it right here, and I'm going to think of another video. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, tell me what you've been doing.